We should be out.
Equality and Inclusion Officer. The Equality and Inclusion Officer advocates for marginalised and underrepresented communities at the university. They will address systemic barriers and create an inclusive environment for the university.
Hello, my name is Moisha Snook and I'm with Jesse Machin. He's running for the role of Equality and Inclusion Officer. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
We'll dive right in. Can you tell me in one sentence why you would make a good fit for the role?
Yes. So I'm really passionate about issues relating to equality and inclusion. This is something that I do every day, and it also really speaks to my skill set as well, because I have lived experience and also professional experience in this. That was longer than a sentence, sorry.
Don't worry. So diving straight into your manifesto, you're talking about influencing decision-making across the university. Well, where would you want to influence decision-making?
So I think that the way that EDI tends to work at the university is that you've obviously got the central EDI office, but then EDI issues are segmented to different departments. I think some departments do better than others. So I would like to kind of have a bit of a light touch across the board, but eventually kind of get a sense of where the fire is as such, so I can put the fuel where the fire is, really look for opportunities where they already exist and kind of build on those existing opportunities.
Of course. So you're mentioning the EDI committees, obviously, but these are mostly departmental meetings and are not part of USU. So how are you trying to influence those as a USU officer?
Yeah, so I think that departments actually do have an interest in getting student participation and student input, obviously particularly on issues that do relate to students. So that will be primarily around teaching and learning, but also just sort of general departmental culture. I think it won't be too difficult of a sell, obviously because USU is the organisation that represents students. So I think by sort of reaching out and explaining kind of what it is that I'm looking to achieve and sort of selling that, I think that that will be quite well received.
Of course. So delving into your next point about support. In your manifesto, you're talking about improving access to social, financial and educational resources. How would you improve and expand on existing resources?
Yeah, so I think that in terms of existing resources, mainly the challenge is about access. So what I'd be looking to do is increase awareness of what kinds of funds are available, because the last thing that you would want, as a student who's eligible for support is to not be aware or have difficulties accessing that. So yeah, it's really about sort of making the administrative side more streamlined and kind of meeting people where they're at to make it as easy as possible.
Okay. As well, you're mentioning especially focusing on breaking barriers for marginalized groups such as BAME and disabled people. How will this look? Your policy also lacks any mention of international students. As they make up 27% of the student body, could you provide assurance to them that their concerns are considered and why they should vote for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was like two questions kind of mixed into one there. I didn't quite catch the question about barriers, sorry, but in terms of reassuring international students, also postgraduate students are absolutely, yes, included and represented in my manifesto. It can be difficult in a limited number of words to sort of shout out individual groups, but I understand that there's going to be a lot of groups who I need to listen very closely and carefully to because they'll have experiences that are very different from my own. I'm absolutely ready to listen and learn, and yes, as a home student myself and someone who's been studying at York for longer than I care to actually mention, international students are very much the kind of group that I'll have to listen closely to.
Okay, could you, as the last question, could you summarize your campaign in one sentence for the audience?
I think it's unlikely to be one sentence. Once again, I do ramble a little bit, but my campaign is about bringing people together, capitalizing on resources and initiatives that already exist, strengthening them, improving them, and making them better by strengthening connections between individuals and ultimately celebrating.
Thank you. Now to the green room.